Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of Saints Live, an inside look at Limestone College athletics here on WZZQ 104.3 FM, online at WZZQradio.com, live on location from the Limestone campus here in the Stevenson Dining Hall. Great to have you all with us this afternoon. Historic times at Limestone College, of course, the first football game in program history coming up on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock as the Saints play host to Wingate at the reservation. And, of course, tonight, history as well with the first ever outdoor sporting event on campus that'll be played under lights. It's all part of a doubleheader coming up tonight out at Saints Field. Of course, at 5 o'clock this evening, the women's field hockey squad, number one in the ECAC preseason poll. Women's field hockey in action this evening at 5 o'clock. And number 21 ranked men's soccer. A big showdown hosting number 22 Queens University of Charlotte. That gets underway at 7:30, and that men's soccer matchup will be the first ever outdoor sporting event on campus that'll be played under the lights. So certainly some exciting times here at Limestone College. We are in the crux of the fall sports season. Fall sports teams that have yet to play their first regular season game are certainly about to do so. And two of those sports, women's volleyball and men's soccer, or women's soccer, we're going to talk with today. We're going to talk with women's soccer coach Matt Smith and also talk with women's volleyball coach Brandon Skweres during the course of today's show as well. And we'll also tell you some of the logistics coming up for the big football game on Saturday. That and much more when we continue with another edition of Saints Live on Gaffney's Hot FM. Welcome back, everyone, as Saints Live continues from the Stevenson Dining Hall on the campus of Limestone College. Thanks so much to all that have joined us out here this afternoon as they eat lunch before heading off to afternoon classes or labs or out to their respective sports practices. As we mentioned earlier, the fall sports season is in full swing here at The Rock. A little later, we're going to talk with women's soccer coach Matt Smith. Their season gets underway tomorrow, but up first, women's volleyball with Brandon Skweres. And Coach, it's good to see you again. Been a little while, but you're looking good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you too, Fabian.
Well, you get to coach both of the programs here. We talked to you in the spring with the men's program, but certainly some exciting times with women's volleyball. Yet a young team.
Yeah, we have quite a young team this year, Fabian. We brought in 7 freshmen to go along with 13 returners. So we'll have a total of 20 girls this year. These girls are coming from all over the country. Wisconsin, Illinois, Maryland, South Carolina, Texas. So we're very excited about this group.
When you have a young team, there's a tendency for coaches to kind of gain hair some weeks, lose hair some weeks, because you have the ups and downs associated with youth.
Yeah, that's correct. We're going to take our lumps a little bit in the beginning, but we're going to be better off for it at the end. We're a little green right now. Kids are starting to understand the system, so it's exciting. It's just a really exciting time for our program.
Well, let's talk about, first off, since we led in with the youth movement, so to speak, who are some of the younger players that could end up having an impact for you this year?
We've got a significant number of freshmen that will see the court this year. Ricky Ebert from Wisconsin, she'll see some playing time on the outside position. Darla Svoboda, she's from Maryland. She'll see some time on the outside as well. Our libero, Emily Shapiro from Texas, she'll see some time. Kenzie Hall is from Ohio. Kylie Moyer from Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Natalie Tucker from Wando, South Carolina. And so all of these kids will definitely see some playing time this year. Mary Kate Katarzinski is also our kid from Illinois. And she'll see some significant setting time right away, so we're really excited.
Well, Coach Skweres, before we talk about the returnees, I heard you give the geographic locale of some of those newcomers to the program. You and your staff have gotten out and about, it looks like, recruiting the country.
Yeah, it's very important to go outside of your state to really recruit. The Midwest is a hotbed for women's volleyball, so we're very excited that we're able to pull in a few kids from the Midwest. Of course, that being my home territory, we're excited to be able to get a couple kids. We don't get to travel out there, which is okay, so it's all good.
Now we're talking women's volleyball right now with the head coach of the Saints and Brandon Skweres. Let's talk about some of those returnees that'll have to show leadership with some of the younger players.
Yeah, we've got a great group of leaders, returners, Aaron Courtney and Nikki Eno. Both the junior and a senior will see very significant time in the middle this year. Jessica Johnson will see time on the right side. Reagan Young's on the outside, who was third-team all-conference last year. So we have some great experience on the court as well as some youth. So it's going to be interesting, and it's a week-by-week basis, definitely. It's a fight every day for a position, which is exactly what I want as a coach.
As always, Coach Skweres, you have a rather rigorous schedule ahead this year. Let's talk about some of those opponents.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about strength of schedule a little bit and how we're green now, but it's going to help us in the end. We don't start out easy. Tomorrow we open up our season at the Queen's University of Charlotte Fall Invitational. We'll start out with GRU Augusta out of the Peach Belt Conference. Then we play Catawba College out of the Southern Atlantic Conference. Two great teams. And then on Saturday, we'll play Lenore Rhine out of the SAC, another great team, and we'll finish out against the University of Montevallo. So this weekend's going to be tough. Tuesday, the 9th, we'll travel to the University of Montevallo, which is in Alabama, and we'll play number 23 ranked West Florida. Again, no rest for the weary here. And then again, the University of Montevallo. So that's going to be, the first week is going to be tough. Next weekend, we head to USC Aiken for the second year in a row, and we'll also play another top 25 team in the country there. So we're definitely looking forward to some serious competition. So
it kind of sounds like the early stages of the season, if you're not swimming with the sharks, you're jumping off the highest diving board.
Yeah, it's going to be a little interesting, but like I said, it's going to be great for these kids to get some game experience right away. And as a coach, you always want to win, but at the same time, you want to be prepared for the conference, and so that's the most important thing.
And that's what it all comes down to. So how about a conference outlook, Coach?
We're looking pretty good. As of right now, we're very happy, and I think we'll be pretty successful this year. We got high expectations for this group. So we're looking to make the conference tournament again and get further than we did last year, which was the semifinals. So we're looking pretty good right now, but that can all change.
Let's talk about facilities here for just a minute at Limestone. You go through the conference, and as a matter of fact, the Division II schools on the private level, Limestone continues to have one of the top-notch facilities.
I definitely agree with you, Fabian. Our athletics facilities are top-notch in the Southeast and in the entire country. I think we have probably one of the best or the best gym in our conference, just based on the fact that it's light, the floor is really good, and we got great maintenance staff to take care of it. So I couldn't be any happier with the facilities here at Limestone.
Now, we've talked about a lot during this interview with you, Coach, as we close out. You talked about your schedule. You talked about getting going. Again, the first home match in the Timken Center is when?
September 16th, 7 p.m. in Timken against GRU Augusta out of the Peach Belt Conference. Another tough opponent. Make sure we get as many people in the gym as we can. It's free admission. So community, come on out and see us play.
More information on Coach Skweres and the women's volleyball program available online at GoLimestoneSaints.com. Coach, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you a little later as the volleyball season progresses.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, we invite you to stay tuned. Saints Live will continue after these messages on Gaffney's Hot FM. Welcome back, everyone, as Saints Live continues on this Thursday afternoon from the Stevenson Dining Hall on the campus of Limestone College. Want to thank women's volleyball coach Brandon Skweres for stopping by in our previous segment to talk about the team over there. Now we're going to go to women's soccer, and Matt Smith is with us. Good to see you again, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Fabian.
And another season getting underway. We'll let you take the ball and run with it, so to speak.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've got a young team this year. We've got 15 freshmen, two transfer players. So we have 17 new players to our team, 16 returners. So it's going to be a really exciting year just to kind of see where this team can go.
When you have a young team like that, there's some growing pains. There's some kind of down moments. There's some really great moments, and I guess what you're trying to do is maintain that even keel, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, and it's really important to have good quality returning leadership as well, which we definitely have to be able to teach the young kids kind of how we do things and how we want them to play and things like that. And I tell you, from time to time you do have those kind of those moments where they're freshman growing pains and young team growing pains and things like that. But I tell you what, it's been really fun to watch this team literally every day get better and better.
Now, before we talk about some of the players that will make up the Limestone women's soccer team this year, I want to ask you about the new synthetic surface that you're getting to practice and play on this year. We've had some really hot days as of late with, temperatures pushing 100 degrees, and other teams been out there playing on that. But it's also a good thing as well because you get used to playing on that. Then I guess when you have a practice or a game on natural grass, you're even in better shape.
Right, yeah, we were out on it the other day when it was about 95 or 96, and on the turf it was about 110. And that is, that's tough. We really, we struggle through it, but we tough it out, and it really, but we had a same day the other day, and we were on the grass, and the girls were just fine because it's really just getting your body acclimated to it.
Now your schedule, you've always played an aggressive one at the helm of this program. How does your non-conference schedule kind of stack up this year as compared to previous campaigns?
Well, we've got another tough out-of-conference schedule. We start out this weekend at West Georgia with two tough road games against West Georgia and West Alabama from the Gulf South Conference. Just going on the road and doing that for the first weekend, especially with having a young team, is going to be a test for us. And then we play Queens, our local rival Queens, is coming to us towards the end of the year, and then we play another SAC team in Catawba with Chowan sprinkled in there as our home opener next Friday. So, but it's a tough test, but I tell you what, it really gets us ready for our conference.
Women's soccer coach Matt Smith is our guest during this segment of Saints Live. Coach, why don't you talk about some of the key impact players? I know it's a team game, but I know you also have a few key impact players as well that you'll rely on.
We do. And, it is. We preach. Our quote this year is "Team We," and it is all about the us and the we as compared to the I and the me. And but we do have some important players. Obviously returning 2 years ago, Conference Player of the Year, Gabby Reed is back for her senior year. That'll be a help. Our two starting center backs, Leah Kennington and Emily Ludwig, are back. We also have returning center midfielders in Mary Beth Hervig and Grace Gore and Helen Winterburn. I'll tell you what, we're very deep. There's a chance that we could go 20 players deep on our bench, which we've never. We've only rostered 21 in the past.
Wow.
And so now this year we could go as far as 20 players deep. So we're really, really excited.
With the synthetic surface, have you changed your style to play at all, going from natural grass to the synthetic surface, or does it basically stay the same?
Well, it changes a little bit just in terms of being aware of what the ball's going to do on the surface. We won't change the way that we play per se in terms of, we're going to play short passes or we're going to play long passes. It's just more of our girls being more prepared for what the ball's going to do, how it's going to bounce, how it's going to roll out as compared to stopping on natural grass and things like that. So it's just really us being prepared for how the ball's going to react to the surface.
Now, as you were mentioning earlier, it is a rather robust non-conference schedule for the women's soccer team this year. And, of course, that all gets you prepared to enter into conference play. How about a little conference outlook from you, Coach?
Well, the conference is going to be tough again this year. Adding Southern Wesleyan and Emmanuel, putting two more decent sides into the conference is going to be tough. We start off right at the top. We start off with the two teams that played in the conference final. We play them the first two games of the conference schedule. We play Pfeiffer first and then Belmont Abbey. And so we'll definitely be able to see where we are. I think we're going to be right there with them, competing for a conference championship and trying to get to the conference final. And we're really excited. It's going to be a tough thing, but we're ready to do it.
Matt Smith, the women's soccer coach, our guest during this segment of Saints Live. Want to talk to you about the new field house, the Campbell Field House, out there at the main field right now. What kind of an impact has that had on you and your players now having a dedicated locker room right there next to the playing field versus having to make that long walk from the Timken Center area up to the field as in past years?
Right. What it's done is it's given us a home. And really what it's done for our players is it's really allowed them to concentrate on practice, on just getting better. Whereas in the past they had to worry about keeping up with their practice stuff. Did I lose this? Am I wearing the right thing? Whatever. But now Tony and Hunter and the guys up there do a great job. They walk in the locker room. What they're wearing for practice is in their locker. They put it on. They come out to practice. And so it really has added a professional aspect to the program, and that they don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. That burden is taken off their shoulders. Now they can focus on training, getting better, and really preparing themselves for the training session or for the game.
And Coach, as we close out, teamwork here at Limestone, because you've got the two soccer programs and you've also got field hockey that are all using one field, and that was something that we had talked about with some of our other fall sport coaches working together, and also the faculty at the same time working with coaches to where there's now some early afternoon practices. Some teams are going out to practice at 1 in the afternoon, top of the hour here.
Right. It could have been difficult. But because we all are really working together and we work together so well, there really have been very, very few glitches. You're going to have a kid in the lab here, a kid in the lab there, things like that. But we all know that comes first. And if that's just the understanding, and then between the coaches being able to work together and staying out of each other's way when they're coming off and we're coming on, and vice versa, and things like that. But so it could have been difficult, but it's not, because we really are one team here.
Coach, as we close out, I know you mentioned it earlier, your home opener. If you would repeat that once again as you and I talk now. It's 8 days away, but if you would give the date, the opponent, and the time out at Saints Field.
We open up against Chowan University next Friday, September 12th at 7 o'clock underneath the lights. Should be a blast, and we're ready to go.
For more on the Limestone women's soccer program and Coach Smith, you may go online and visit the official website of the Saints at GoLimestoneSaints.com. Good to see you again. Best of luck this year.
Thanks, Fabian. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt Smith talking women's soccer with us. We're going to come back and drop the curtain on the latest edition of Saints Live after this on Gaffney's Hot FM. Talking fall sports on this, the latest edition of Saints Live. We want to thank Brandon Skweres, the women's volleyball coach, for joining us, as well as women's soccer coach Matt Smith. More news and notes on those respective programs available online at the official website of the Saints at GoLimestoneSaints.com. Don't forget, later this Thursday, we've got a field hockey and men's soccer doubleheader out at Saints Field. Women's field hockey getting underway at 5 o'clock, and then a huge national showdown, men's soccer, coming up at 7:30 as the 21st ranked Saints play host to number 22 Queens University of Charlotte. Come out, be a part of history this evening. Men's soccer match will represent the first ever outdoor on-campus sporting event to be played under the lights. And also, history will be made again this coming Saturday when the football program plays its first ever game. Limestone head coach Bobby James welcoming the Wingate Bulldogs to the reservation. Game kickoff is at 1 o'clock, and of course there is an official Game Day Central link at GoLimestoneSaints.com. But some of the particulars: parking opens at 9 Saturday morning. The ticket booths at the reservation opening at 10 o'clock. Stadium gates open at 11:30. Game kick is at 1 o'clock, and of course, don't forget to drop by or tune in to WZZQ for the official official Saints tailgate show. Dennis Fowler will be joined by guests in front of the entrance there at the reservation 1 hour before each and every Limestone home football game this year. So the Saints tailgate show getting underway at high noon. Special thanks back at Studio Control to Jonathan Fitch here on location, to Dennis Fowler. Also want to thank coaches Matt Smith and Brendan Skweres for their efforts, and also working behind the scenes out here with us, Trey Bloomer. Also want to thank everyone who came out to the Stevenson Dining Hall and joined us on this Thursday afternoon. Saints Live back at you 1 week from now, 12:30 to 1 o'clock here on Gaffney's Hot FM.